Is it not working? There we go. Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the MentorFX Private Mentorship. This is webinar 138, and let's jump right into it, okay? So as always, if you're brand new, you're in the right spot. You should, as you know, always kind of keep up to date with the most recent webinar. So whether you're here for the first day, or even if you join in this upcoming week of this month of as we enter February, you're in the right spot in the sense that um, it's important that you show up and see the most recent webinar because, as a lot of you may know and have heard, in recent webinars or in any recent webinar, there is always kind of a focus of the week. There's a breakdown of what happened before. There's a follow-up of what we looked at prior versus what happened now. There's always a breakdown of a given trade, discussion regarding the actual reasons behind the trade, the management, and usually some psychological nuggets from either the team, from something that I might have seen. I usually try to keep it all in. I try to keep track of some of the stuff that goes down so that I can share it with you guys in these webinars. And that means that anyone that shows up to one, even if they're completely brand new and have no idea what's going on in this team at all, it is their first, as I like to call it, it's their first like looking glass. It's their first binoculars into looking at what they're working towards. What's cool about this mentorship or this community, whatever you want to call it, is that it doesn't function like a movie. You're not going to spoil the ending for yourself. You're not going to spoil like what's to come. Instead, you kind of want to know what's going to happen, right? You want to know where the movie ends. You want to know what it actually looks like, and the reason as to why you're doing what you're doing now. So the cool thing about this is you don't have to treat trading like this stepping stone of walking into a new oasis every single day, like, oh, it's so amazing, because a lot of the people that stay there are actually the ones that stay stuck. I've been there, you've been there. It's the equivalent of you showing up to see a new Instagram post, a new entry criteria, a new entry model every single day, thinking that you're learning something new because, hey, all this cool stuff is being thrown at you and you're like, damn, this is so interesting, this is so amazing, right? But in reality, you're learning nothing. You're getting nowhere, right? In trading, kind of like a spoiled movie, it's kind of how you want to think about it, but in a good way, is that you want to know what you're working towards. You want to see me show up to any day here. You want to see members in our chat talking about what they caught, what they've done. You want to show up to the trade talks every day, seeing what people were taking, what people were doing, what people were trading, how people are finding profitability and consistently executing profitably. How, after all this time, you have members that are posting their journals, their testing. You have members that are willing to, so we have Dan here, as you guys know. We have members that are willing to post and kind of walk you through and showcase their kind of live journeys in front of you. So this is, I know that this is Dan's real January month, because he's just trying to make this available and show you guys what he's doing personally. And he's up right now, yeah, about 8RR, right? Yeah, so he's doing absolutely amazing. But I want you to have the movie spoiled. I want anyone that's brand new, that includes anyone that's here right now or even just started working through the course or just joined or is going to join this week, to understand that this is what you're working towards. This is what's possible, and this is what everyone that's done it before you has had access to and has done. So it's good to have the movie spoiled for yourself. You want to know how we do things. You want to see it firsthand so that when you're learning the independent parts of it, you're not sitting there going, oh, but why am I learning this? This is all kind of useless. I don't know what I'm doing. It's all weird. Instead, you have a understanding as to what you're moving towards, which is why a lot of you know the general course consists of that webinar 0 to 1, like 20. And then past that, it's basically a replica and a repetition of the exact same thing over and over and over again, showcased with my trading, other people's trading, Q&A, etc. Okay, so quick disclaimer. Most people lose in the markets. You all know this. Everything we talk about should be viewed as a simulated environment only. If you hear me say that I made money, made 6 figures, lost 5 figures, made X%, XRR, whatever it might be, I want you to view that as simulated only. Thank you for the annotation thing. I forgot about that. And everything taught is, of course, there we go. Everything taught is, of course, my personal opinion, and I mean, that goes without saying. So. Quick, small update. Next webinar will very likely be canceled. I'll still be away for my wedding and whatnot, but then the one after that is going to be fine. So we're going to So this is just a quick little message for all of you that next webinar next week, I'm not going to be able to make that one at all. We're gonna be away, of course. You know, special week, special kind of time in the life. So I think it makes sense to take a little bit of time off there. But we'll be back even stronger the week after. So let's get into it. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Mr. Onions, Mila, Sausage? Good to see you guys. Troy, Peace Pod, as always. Dan. Okay, Dan's here. Congratulations on your current performance this year, Dan. It looks really good. I've spoken to Dan a little bit. I sent him a message. I'm going to try and get a quick, empty version of all of this, if possible, of course, sent over by him, and we'll potentially put together a better #theprocess video so that you have a Google Sheet that you can record your own personal, trading in. And as you guys know, like, Google Sheets does a better job of almost any kind of, or Excel does a better job than almost any other Excel-looking thing or online trade journal, because at the end of the day, for this, you can add anything you really need, right? And, well, that's the best way that, that's the best way to do stuff, so why not? Any guidance on how to make the chat update itself? Yeah, if you scroll all the way down, it should move with new posts. You've never seen me without glasses? Yeah. You like the hoodie? Thank you. Philip said cleaning the magic glasses. Yeah, if you guys didn't remember, this is not an actual mentorship where I sell you a course. At the end of all these webinars, I'm actually going to sell these glasses right here. 10K a piece, and the glasses actually show you where to buy and sell. I don't actually know what I'm doing, like, ever. You guys should know this. Dan says, I'm stoked. Or Dan with 2 A's. First live webby after watching all of them. Holy shit. Well, congratulations for watching all of them, and welcome to the live one, okay? Also, guys, very quickly, I mean, I'm sure you already know this, but coming into any webinar, I usually have a number of things I kind of want to go over. Like, I have stuff saved throughout the week, and then I have the main trade of the week, usually, if there is one that's worthy of going over, unless it's like a week that we had prior where I'll just come on and say there was nothing for me all week. This week's very different. I mean, there was a lot of stuff for me to look at. So I actually got a really nice trade and then a nice little loss at the end of the week there. But we're going to break that down today, of course, just kind of walk you through the thought process, what was going on. And you're always free to jot down any questions you might have, because that's what these webinars are for. Hi, everyone. Congrats on your wedding first live. Welcome to the first live, Samuel, and thank you very much, man. Dan says it's your wedding, don't you worry. Reasonable excuse. I appreciate you, man. No trading week meant. Well, so the last week was actually a trading week for me. I mean, I'm sure you saw the MentorFX trade ideas, but I was trading all of last week. I took nice loss on NZD USD. NAS never set up. UCAD never set up. CAD JPY was beautiful. I'm still in this, actually, with my stop just protected down here. And I sadly got stopped out of this. I really wanted to get in this and then have it end like somewhere here. So coming into the week, I could maybe get gapped out for a loss, or it could start a move. And that would be very nice. But because it made such a big down move and it was really close to my stop, I did not want to hold over the weekend with the stop and then have it, gap down here and take a -2 instead, or higher because of spread. So I just decided not to hold it, which, it's fine. This can easily come down and then reset up, and then I'll probably take another trade this week right here or something. We'll see what happens. We'll see what this wants to do. So, but the upcoming week, it's going to be a trading week, just I'm not going to be on as much, right? So all that's going to happen is I'm going to check in here and there with the markets. I'm going to take a look at the screener, as you guys know, see what's kind of moving, because it takes me about, in all honesty, it takes me about 1 minute, 30 seconds to a minute of analysis of just this and the markets to decide whether or not something is worth even watching, right? And then for the actual moment, if it's worth taking. So the only question is there going to be a spur of time where I end up checking the chart, we're putting on a buy stop over an MB, or sell stop under an MB, ICI, right? Same thing, is worth it. Right, so for those of you guys that are new, just because of terminology, I'll just make it really clear really quick when I said that. So my main system right now is very, very simply if you have a bullish market, it's basically buy stopping an MB and throwing a buy stop here, and then vice versa, right? If you have a relatively bearish market, it's basically sell stopping an MB that begins to form, something like this, right? And then sell stopping through here. And this is known as the setup itself, where you buy stop any given MB or sell stop an MB. Oftentimes, it's known as an ICI, and then there are certain factors to it. Like you guys know, I've taught a version of this right here in a number of videos, publicly and privately, and showcased a lot of this kind of thought process in replay mode and all that stuff. So if you're new, you will learn all about it. It'll become very easy. But as you head down into like the remastered section, hashtag system is going to have those examples. Hashtag ICI extras is going to have those examples, specifically this video, which is a very, very simple foundational trading plan. So that's all going to be there. Okay. So you'll learn all about it, but that's basically what an ICI is when I say that. So yeah, for the upcoming week, I mean, I'll probably have a slower week. I'm probably not going to be trading as much. We're going to be on a beach at a resort, just doing a bunch of shit, swimming. So the odds of me having something open and getting involved is going to be less than. But I'm going to be managing this trade if it wants to keep going, right? Because managing is really easy. I mean, I just check with the market every few hours, and if there's a new double MB structure, I'll just move it under, right? So as we know, it moved higher, right? It made this one, so I move my stop under this one. Right now it's created this one, but there's nothing for me to do. If it moves higher at the start of the week, right, even before I get on like the plane, I'll throw my stop here, right? This is easy. This is where you can be a phone trader, right? Because I do a lot of management on my phone sometimes, where if I'm in this trade, right, and then I check my phone at the airport and price is here, it takes me 2 seconds to now open my MetaTrader and just throw it to this price, right, of like 109.85 or whatever. So it makes it really, really easy to do that because, it's a full stop. The only thing that I miss out on potentially is if the move becomes what I like to call exuberant, right? When it goes crazy, when the people that don't know what's going on start to buy in such a way that price moves, in this kind of fashion. So the only thing that I give up potentially when I manage this way, or when I'm more away from the computer, is I miss out on the potential partial of a crazy, crazy mover like this. But that's okay, because overall, based on my own study of my own trades and whatnot, oftentimes this management will keep you in most of the move. And oftentimes this kind of thing will secure potentially an extra 1 to 2 RR per trade. So even though I might be giving that up, that's okay. That's how life works. That's how we are as humans. We cannot be robots. We cannot be automatons. Yes, we can step up the timeframes that we're trading on and make sure that we are able to follow more rules more clearly at any given point. But this is stuff that I'm fully open with, right? And the reason I also kind of am sitting here in front of you kind of talking about my upcoming week where, hey, I'm going to a resort, wow, and I'm going to miss trades. One of the main reasons I want to kind of bring that up and bring that to your attention is because I want you to notice that when I talk about the fact that I'm going somewhere or I'm doing something or how I might manage something, that I'm completely open to the fact that, and I'm fully acknowledged and understand that there are moves that maybe I would have taken if I had been home that I won't be able to take, right? And at the same time, it is not emotionally making me do something bad because of it. I have gotten countless messages. I've seen countless, let's say, issues from people, from members, that say something along the lines of, hey, I was offline for this setup and, I missed this huge trade and it really sucks. I don't know what to do. Like, I'm clearly missing RR. And to that, it's like, it doesn't matter. That's what you have to realize. Like, if you didn't take this trade right here because you were on the computer and you were scared of taking another loss, that is where the issue lies. That's a huge issue. But if you're not online, if you're in the bathroom, if you're having a hard day, right? If you have anything, right? If you had to take your kid to the fucking hospital, if you had to go care for your mother, if you had to go do homework, I don't know. And that's the reason that you weren't able to be on your computer or at the charts to take the trade, that is fine. That is your edge still playing out. Because you will be on the computer and you will make those moves and those moves will happen and they will continue to repeat and everything's going to be fine, right? Had I missed this trade, I mean, yeah, it would suck for my equity curve a little bit, but it wouldn't affect anything in over the next 100 trades, no matter what. Right? So I want you to recognize that just because moves aren't being taken doesn't mean that you're missing out on true money being made. That's not really what's happening. It's a little weird, but that's not what's happening. The only time that you truly fuck yourself over, or the only time that you truly miss out on money being made, is when you're in front of the computer, you're in front of the charts, and then you choose not to take a trade because you are scared of its outcome. You're scared that it might lose. You're scared that it might be a break even. And as a result, you don't take it. That is the worst thing you can do. If you don't take this because you're on a plane, if you don't take this because you're eating, if you don't take this because you're chilling with your kids, whatever it might be, that is your edge playing out. And again, something that seems very similar, because in both scenarios, hey, you didn't take the trade, right? One scenario is still positive edge and you're going to make money. The other scenario is scary because it's guaranteeing that over time, your psychology is going to eat away at your profit and you're going to lose in the long term, right? This is why no matter where you are, no matter who you are, if you're starting in trading and you don't get trading down to a T in regards to what you're going to be doing, you're eventually going to lose no matter what. Even if you make 300K in the first month of trading, you're going to lose that and more if you don't have an actual system. This is the beauty of trading. Money that you earn will be given back if you do not have it fully worked out. And if you have it fully worked out, you're going to make money whether you're trading or not trading at any given moment. Missing a trade like this doesn't mean anything. I've seen a lot of people talk about stuff like this, so I want to bring it up for this webinar specifically because, well, you cannot look at something and say, oh my God, I missed this because I was away. My edge is broken. That is the furthest thing from how it works, okay? But the next time you don't take a trade because I'm scared that it's going to lose, that's when you slap yourself on the wrist. That's when you punish yourself either through needing to demo test for another 6 months, right? And that's also another great thing that I've spoken about before. Like, if you're someone that is in that boat right now of, every time I go live, I just start not following my rules. I'm super emotional, blah, 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 blah. Because I know people are like that, right? If you're actually in that boat, and I've seen people in that boat where they'll come to me and they're like, I know I'm profitable. I know the system works. I've seen the system work. But every time I go live, I just do stupid shit. Fix me, please. Well, the next time that happens, here's the thing you do. The next time you break any rule, you simply close any live account you have. You stop any funded account that you're working on. You just let it lose. You don't even touch it. You don't even trade it. You let it do whatever, and you spend the next 6 months on a forward testing demo account only. And after those 6 months, you're going to go, holy fuck. All these 6 months, I've done nothing but follow rules, and it fucking sucks because I could have been making money all along. So now, as I go live, I know what to do. And guess what? If you go live and make the same mistake again, 10 months. And guess what? I can guarantee you that if any of you have done this, and you can look inwards right now, if any of you did this after those 10 months, not a single one of you would break your rules again. Because you've just spent close to 2 years in a demo environment punishing yourself for making mistakes that you know you don't have to make. And at that point, it's not worth your time to go another 12 months if you make one mistake. So you go, fuck it. I'm a stick to just following my rules. Because clearly that makes money, and clearly I don't want to spend another 10 months doing nothing, right? Or demo testing. So it's a really good way to just fix your psychology right now if you really want to, right? The next time you make a mistake, if you have a profitable system and you know you have a profitable system, great. 6 months, done. And that's it. I mean, it's just going to become very, very simple for all of you to keep yourself, what do you call it? To keep yourself responsible personally, right? To keep yourself accountable to yourself. No one's going to be there to do it for you. You guys know this. No, there's going to be members that are going to be able to tell you things like, oh, you can do it, right? Or, oh, this is normal. You should be aware of it, but it's time to focus up. I can be here telling you the story of myself, about my why, about why I don't make the mistakes that a lot of you might be making. But at the end of the day, there has to be some kind of self-accountability at the very, very bottom of it, right? Because that's the only thing that's going to hold together the entire structure. No one else can hold that for you. No one else can hold that together for you. So hold it together now so that you don't have to worry about the consequences of not holding it in the future, right? Please check this. Oh, yeah, I saw this. I mean, I had a few questions about it just in regards to like the triangles and exactly what we're looking at that. But yeah, this is the general journey to discovering, let's say, a profitable system. I'd probably work on this a little bit to make it a little bit more clean, hit some more factors. But yeah, this is generally what it looks like from a learning perspective, right? You come, you have absolutely no idea what you're doing, which means that everything is tradable. This is the idea of like you might even have like one of those printouts of all the entries that you can have, and anything is an entry, right? At any given point. Like if we look at anything right now, this is theoretically, right, a triangle entry, right? That's easy, right? This is a sideways, whatever the fuck, sideways entry. There's a channel entry, right? There's every kind of entry here, just in front of you at any given point, and there's head and shoulders there, and there's anything, right? It's all there. So everything is tradable, right? And then you go through understanding at least some form of blueprint, right? That's when you get an idea about what you technically can look for that'll keep you out of like all this nonsense. And all of a sudden, you can refine yourself to a certain portion of price that you want to trade. Yeah. You have a general view of what to look for. Then experience, where there's still tons of setups to take and tons of areas, and now you're experiencing them over and over and over again. You ride the range of setups you take, and you don't know exactly which ones to take at first. So you just take kind of everything within those blueprints. You keep on testing until you start realizing things. Yeah, and as you start realizing certain similarities, you go into refinement. And at that point, once you've refined and created rules, you start making money, right? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I saw this. I wanted to do a little bit of work on it before, like, we used it for mentorship purposes. But yeah, it was a really cool put together by, it was Matt, right? Matheus, yeah, Matheus. So thank you for that. Can we do a potential 1 to 5 minute trade breakdown? How to approach a random market last week? Well, yeah, like this is exactly that, right? So I'm going to break down my CAD JPY trade personally on that 15 minute. We could even do a mini, like, let's go inside and see what we could have done inside of here, right? Because if you're a 15-second, 5-second, like these are opportunities as well, probably after this candle trades higher, right? You have the FMB move higher. So you can very likely start to look for something inside of there. Or even a lot of you might notice that a good time to even step down on a lower time frame is after an ICI activation or an MB activation of a higher. So as price makes its way through this red high, that's when you can step down to a lower time frame to watch for entries, right? That's just another example. So you guys know that right now, if you were a trader that wants to confirm on a higher or validate, one way to do that is through demand validation or for bullishness. So for bullishness, one way is for demand validation. Another way is for fractalized MB validation, right? That's where it trades higher over a few down candles and closes above. Another way, as I just showed you guys, is the ICI validation, which is again a fractal MB, an intermediate MB. So you should see how all of those kind of work together, but for different people, different things will make more sense, right? For some people, starting to trade here is a little bit too early. For others, waiting for a high to be put in place and then to trade above is enough for them to go, okay, since this MB here is being validated, I want to see price deliver now. And this can be the moment they start looking at their lower time frames, right? But yeah, so for Adam, of course, I'm going to break down my personal trade here. So that'll be like the kind of the breakdown of exactly what I did last week from a standpoint of from tools, screener-wise, to the actual market condition. I'm waiting for his first 100 trades to make a candlestick chart of Dan's stocks. Bro, those candlestick charts of the, like, it just I don't even know what's going on there. But good job putting them together, I guess. Like, competition winners. So again, men funding and its winners and competitions is a little bit more disconnected from the mentorship here. I'm not going to go over the winners here and go all over that at the moment. I haven't fully ingrained the two spaces yet, but those winners will be made available once we've gone through all the data on the men funding thing, right? Did you take a US 100 trade? No. Nope. Just this guy right here, right? Very beginning of the week, I took this guy. And yeah, like, I'm going to open this up again. So you can see, I had that big losing streak or whatever it was last week or something. And then this week, right? With one trade, it was 5RR right out the gate. And someone even messaged like in the group chats, and they were like, "Holy shit, his entire like streak was just wiped out by one trade." Yeah, that's how trading works, right? That's the beauty of it. Then I went on another little streak, took some -1s on NZD USD. Yeah, thanks to Dan for telling me to look at NZD USD and getting me all hype about it. But no, I took 2 quick losses on this thing. Missed out on a potential move just by a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. And then let's go back here. Then I took a win on CAD JPY, CAD JPY. That's the one I'll discuss today with you guys because, you know, very good delivery. Everything's perfect there. Took another trade end of the week. And took a little bit over a -1. It was like a -1.3. I recorded it here as such. But now, over the last few weeks, so over the last like 2-3 weeks where we've seen this kind of big losing streak come in, those of you that have been here, what do you think the equity curve looks like? It was Dan's mission to give me a bit of drawdown on the equity curve. Nice. Some people are saying new high, but yeah, the thing I discussed, there were 2 things I discussed. What was the absolute worst case scenario that I wanted to see? Right? Yeah, sideways or it keeps going down, right? No, it's actually going down. What did I say was my best case scenario that I would consider a best case scenario for like last week? Yep, exactly. Right, sideways. So again, this harps on the same thing I've spoken about over and over and over again, where when I take a trade, I'll instantly assume it as a loss. So if tomorrow I take a trade on CAD JPY again, before it even delivers or does anything, I'm instantly assuming like this. I'm assuming -1. It's done, right? That's assumed. There's nothing more for me to do. I just simply assume that and call it a day. Because, again, I don't care as long as I'm taking good trades. If I'm taking good trades, whether this is a -1 or anything else, it doesn't bother me because the trade was good. End of story, right? So that's all fine and dandy and all good. But I do the same thing with my overall equity curve, right? My worst case scenario is technically that it keeps on going down little by little by little. -1, -1, -1, -1. Wow, it's so sad. My best case scenario is that I just go sideways and I do nothing. I either get no trades or I go sideways. That's my best case scenario. And if that happens, I'm a happy marshmallow, right? And then the absolute astronomical best of the best insane case scenario is I go to all-time highs. And guess what? That's going to happen over and over and over again as long as I do those other 2 things. As long as I go sideways or take small losses. Great. So I'll just do that, right? And yeah, you guys are right. I'm just at sideways right now still, right? And you can see that if I was someone that for any reason, missed out, oh God, missed out on my +5, and it was a break even, and missed out on my win this week, oh God, right? It doesn't change the overall structure of my appreciation for the move, right? It doesn't matter to me. That win, this one that you see on CAD JPY, could come in this week. Okay, great. Now I'm up a mini 3.1 on that trade, and then let's say I hit a small trade on NAS for 3, right? That's under what I just saw. And again, it'll put me in that same scenario, right? Where I'm back at the break-even sideways level, which is exactly what I want to see, right? I don't care how this plays out now. I can miss trades, I can take trades. The only thing that I can't do is break my rules. That's the only thing that's going to truly fuck me over, right? As long as I'm following rules, I know that these wins will come, right? They do it over and over again. Take a look. Break even, small wins. 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 6RR. Break even, small wins. Break even, small wins. Break even, small wins. Break even, small wins. Break even, 5RR. Break even, small wins. Break even, small wins. -1s. Break even, small wins. Break even, 4RR. Blah, 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 blah. 10RR. Blah, 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 blah. 3RR. 5RR. 7RR. Blah, blah, blah. 9RR. Blah, 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 blah. 5, 3. Again, the more I do it, the more I just do the exact same thing over and over and over again, the more the unprecedented happens. And I'm at all-time new highs again, right? And I have to do no thinking about it. There's no there's no care in the world for what I'm going to do next, right? Because I'm fully aware of what my system is going to be able to do, right? And as a result, you see this happening. You see this happening since August, that I've started to kind of share this with you from a very, very starting point, like just zoomed right out, said, here's August, let's see what happens. All right, let me show you what it kind of looks like to do this over and over and over again, right? And the max drawdown I've ever went on still is like 5%, right? And like, I mean, yeah, there you are. There you have it. It's just beauty, right? Anytime I see you trade NAS, I always see you murder it. I mean, like, not even always, right? So I know I took this like super easy break even, right? I like, look at this thing. I took it, boom, insta break even. I took a trade inside of here somewhere. I don't remember where it was, but I took an instant loss somewhere in here, I believe. I forgot exactly where it was. Oh, right here, yeah. Right, boom, instant loss in here. This was almost a loss too, right? Like, look at this, guys. So this was the trade on the 8th of December. Okay, so let's just take a look at that one. Right, this is what I mean, though. On the 8th of December, that's that 3RR gain right here. Right, imagine that actually ended up hitting my stop. Imagine it took me out. Oh, God. Do you guys think that my entire system has now lost its effect? Whether I took this trade or not, has it lost its effect? If I wasn't there because I was with my child or at my wedding, do you think it has changed my system? If I took a break even on that, has it altered the state of my system that now, because I didn't get that win, I'm never going to get it back, right? It's like, no. Like, I don't even know where the trade is now. I look at this, I'm like, did I even take a fucking trade? Right? There we go. Okay, like, so this is, when I talk about this idea of, like, be willing to just miss the trades if you miss them. Be willing to walk away if you need to walk away. Be willing to do whatever it is you need to do, and like, you don't have to worry about it. Just because you've missed the opportunity, because you weren't there, doesn't mean you've lost the grand scheme war, whatever you want to call it, right? There are months, so I'll actually tell you guys right now, there are months, as you guys know, where I spend a lot more times on the charts. You guys want to guess which one of those months it was in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months? Can you guess what month I spent a lot of time on the charts? Like a fuck ton of time. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, October. No, it was literally around these, 09 and 10. Like September and 10 and October, right? I had nothing going on. It was very boring for me, and during these months, I was looking at so much stuff. Just looking at, where can I get opportunities? Or is there anything that's worthwhile? And as a result, some sleepless nights, just spent a lot of time on the charts. It magnified in effect of more trades. It doesn't necessarily mean that I took more wins specifically. In this case, it did. But it just meant that I was trading a lot more, right? In some months, I'll do less. Like, you'll probably see my 01, right, remain small like this. Why? Because, well, January is coming to an end, and I'm not going to be trading a lot at the end of January, right? So we know this is likely not going to do anything crazy unless this thing goes insane right here, right? And then all of a sudden, let's say I get stopped out up here for the other 50% for another 5, 6, 7, 8. So like another 5 gets stopped out there. What's that put me at? 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8.1, right? If that happens, if CAD GPY just starts to run, right? I mean, I guess in this case, it doesn't even matter that much. It doesn't end up being that big of a change. So like, I'd really need like an insane, like fucking, like a 10, I don't even know, like a 15R runner. And at that point, it'll be like one of those crazy months. But again, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't expect or force anything out of the market. The market's going to do whatever it needs to do. Money moves into that market. If for some reason, some big corporation, some big country, some company, whatever it is, interest rate, some big news comes out and this thing wants to go to all-time new highs on a huge parabolic level, great, right? Great. My equity curve is just going to grow a little bit faster. But I can't determine that. I can't guess that. And I don't really care. Because at the end of the day, I know my rules are going to make me money, right? It's really, really simple for me. But I've only gotten there because, well, I've done the same thing over and over and over again for so long that I have nothing but the expectation of success, right? I have nothing else that I can, like, there's nothing else I need to do. So Shizen says, I just finished the course, started to journal my first 15 trades. Looking forward to having 1,000. Good. Onion says, I wonder if I could get your thoughts on the transition from backtesting to live trading. I'm currently backtesting my system, and my next step is I plan to trade on a demo as if it's live. Any further advice would be appreciated. I mean, that sounds like exactly what you need to do. That's perfectly fine, yeah. Emila says, we had a Webby on Christmas Eve. We had one on New Year's, but seems the wedding is where we draw a line. It's different. It's different. We're at a beach, man. Pay for your whole wedding by trading at your wedding. Yeah, there you go, dude. I mean, just to harp on, let's say to talk about the money side a little bit, right? There's been 13 break-even trades. Okay? This is the way I've always thought about it. That means it's 13 prevented minus ones. Now, assuming a $2 million account, okay? Assuming a $2 million account at around 0.75% risk, we're at around 15K of risk per trade, right? Times your 13 prevented losses, right? I inherently have made from a $2 million account 195K, right? Yeah, that pays for a wedding, guys. Yeah, that pays for a trip. Yeah, that pays for a year of living expenses, right? So just to, again, highlight the importance of break-evens, even though it doesn't seem like much, you're protecting a bottom line. You're protecting a bottom line in a big, big way, even if it doesn't always seem like it. Break-evens are huge, right? They basically finance the trade on their own. And then as a result of them, they finance your own equity curve, right? It might not seem like much, but those 13 trades have saved you on a $2 million account, 200K. They've saved you 13%. You can do the math on that. If you're trading for a fucking hedge fund or you're an institution and you're trading $1 billion of capital, 1%, if you're using that kind of risk, right? 1% of a billion's what? 1 mil, 100 mil, 10 mil. It's 10 mil. So you just, saved 130 mil just through breaking even. That is an absurd thing to think about, right? I mean, it's relative. So, of course, 130 mil, wow, it's a lot of money. But 130 mil was just saved by having a simple rule that didn't make you hold on to losses. That's an amazing thing to have. That is why I've taught you guys to always look for reasons and ways to break even that will still allow for your winners to make their given moves. You still work with Mint Manager when you're out. When I leave, yeah, I work with it on my computer and stuff. But like for a stop loss, this is 100% of my position. So I can just use the MetaTrader terminal for it, right? Like that's all. I don't have to, it's not that hard for that. Shizen says, trading can easily become a gambling addiction if you do not know how to set rules for yourself and log off when it's time to do so. Yeah, that too. It's not even not knowing when to log off. I mean, I can be on the computer for 15 hours. I've had days where I'll be on it for 15 hours, but it doesn't mean that I'm trading or taking stuff, right? I think it's really just the rule part. Logging off is not necessary. It's just understanding when it's worthy or when it's worth putting on risk. And if you don't understand that, then of course you're going to put on risk in as many random areas as you can, which means that over time you'll have such random results, random up and downs, random variance, that over time you guarantee to lose, right? Yeah. Anxious Mosquito asks, how do you organize your trading and analysis? Do you perform all your analysis on TradingView and then just enter the trade on MT4? Yep, exactly. Or on a different broker if it's like a stock or some kind of future. I'm asking because I'm new to MT4 and it's not as intuitive and easy to use TradingView. Is there a guide on how to organize things better on MT4? I mean, so on MT4, I just have my manager on there, and then I execute the trade on the given pair. I do all analysis in TradingView. That's why I've built out the tools here, right? All the tools and stuff in TradingView for you. Okay. Well, you guys are just fucking crazy. Sarath says, I used to be so scared and taking trades, but now I look at it as every trade, whether it's a win or loss, I'm moving forward. Yep. Good. Good. Shaz says, practically speaking, what I've done is only trade 30 pounds, 50K challenges. I mean, 5K challenges. It helps so much with psychology, right? So that's another way. But honestly, I think the full on punish yourself for more time than you could even burden for yourself is the easiest way, right? Like, what is a lot of time for some of you? Now, this will differ from person to person, but like, what's a lot of time? If I had told you you have to do 6 months of demo, would you be like, fuck, right? After knowing that you're profitable. So some people, so Dan says 2 years, Onion says a year, right? But like at Dan's level, 2 years would make sense, right? Because he has everything worked out. In my mind, when I look at Dan, I know his system's worked out. So if he fucks up right now off of a mistake that he should not make, right, it would make sense for him to take those 2 years. And guess what? If for any reason he made that kind of dumb emotional mistake and then took those 2 years, I'm sure he can look inwards right now and talk to it. But would you come back after those 2 years and ever make a small little emotional mistake ever again, right? Maxwell says depends, but I think the answer is a straight as hell no. It's so simple, right? Because during those 2 years, if he doesn't have the monetary funds to live over those next 2 years, guess what? During those 2 years, he might have to go work at Starbucks so he can drink his drinks. He might have to go and work wherever it might be. And he'll go, holy shit, this is not worth it in any way. Why did I do that? And after 2 years, he's going to come back and he'll say, even if I'm worse a trader now than I was before, I am never making that mistake again. There is no reason for me to be emotional, right? And for some reason, for some people, like this punishment way or the why way, those are the two ways that you can fix your psychology, right? Those are the two ways to really do it. One is to really punish yourself through this kind of means of like, holy shit, I never want to have to go through that again. Another way is to answer your why and really have a solidified one, right? I had a little quote. I think someone even quoted it within the YouTube video from last week, from the webinar last week. They quoted it because, well, I guess it hit hard for them, or it hit home, and it made a ton of sense, right? I think, was it 137? Let me check. Was it this one? Yeah. So our good man Cyber commented, right? At some point, someone asked me, hey, Anton, how do you just sit there and never make a mistake? How do you sit there and never be emotional? And one of the quotes that I kind of said as I was doing it was, imagine me talking in the future, or even right now, to my fiance, to my child, to my daughter, right? And I go, listen, daddy is a little emotional, so we got to cut back on groceries, right? This is never a quote or something that I would even imagine coming out of my mouth. I would never want that to happen. So there is no fucking way, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to sit here and make an emotional move or an emotional choice at any point. My why is so solidified that I don't need to even punish myself, because this is punishment enough for me to break kind of this promise to my family, my own life, my personal self, because you can make promises to yourself as well, right? You can have the internal voice, listen, Anton, are you really going to throw away your ability to live on your own, your ability to provide for yourself, your ability to travel at any point you want, your ability to live on your own time, just so you can make a little emotional trade right now, right? Because before I had a child, that's kind of what went through my mind. And if the answer is the biggest no you could ever imagine, then there's no reason you would ever make a mistake in the first place, right? So I'll go back up here. John says, hey, Anton, how are you? Congratulations on your wedding. Thank you, sir. I'm a bit confused about my entry criteria and was hoping to get your thoughts. Would generally like to see a bit of chop before our ICI setups. Depends. Not chop, but more so like a stage 1, but sure. In past webinars, I showed you these other 2 quick setups, and you weren't fond of them. But in last week's webinar, you highlighted this quick trade on NAS 100 and said it was great. Could you tell me more about why this NAS is clearer than the others? GJ. So again, like I said this to someone in the ICI based ideas chat as well yesterday. We kind of had a little discussion, and the reality of any given trade, okay, is that any ICI, any buy stop of an MB of a high is, in my mind, good. Done. It's an ICI. You're good. With the exception of the really far out there, the MAs look like shit. The market completely looks like dog shit. So outside of that, the ICI is fine. Okay. The only thing that now has to be stacked upon that is the context of the actual market. What are those hires showing you? Where are you in those hires? What is the demand validation of those hires looking like? What does the market look like in that hire? What does the screener look like at the time of the trade? These are all factors that go into deciding whether something is actually clear for me or not, right? So like Whitey asked me, hey, do you like this trade through the high? For me, I said no. The trades on this thing were here, 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 even back here. There's like 4 trades already before it. Even though this is an ICI and it's clean and it's all fine, these were the trades that were made available due to the context of this market, right? So I sent it to him and I said, these are the ones that you'd want to be taking. This one is, in my opinion, too late. And now it's ready to either run or I would imagine it to chop. So I wouldn't ever take this right here, right? Even though it's still an ICI and it fits the criteria for it. And then, we had, I think, what did Bitcoin end up doing for him? I don't remember, but yeah, so this thing then ended up running, right? So it ended up making that move, which is all good to see. And the context of it was worthy of taking that trade because of where it actually was and how it was moving and where it was in the early stages of this higher time frame too. So these are all factors that go into it. There's no such thing as an independent, is this ICI good? It's like, yes. As long as it's literally not in chop MA or in complete shit, the ICI itself is fine. But the context of the market is what matters most, right? That's what comes first and foremost. So I don't know the prior conditions of this entire market here, right? It looks like we had some kind of move. The actual entries were probably early here. Then it started its move. There was maybe an entry here, and now it's starting to fail. The fact that these entries have been provided on this given time frame, and now it's moving down, tells me that taking an entry here or here is like, it makes no sense now because the opportunities were already made available to you, and now the early opportunities are now failing. This stage 2 delivery has now started its longer form stage 1 that now is looking like it's breaking down. So that is one of the reasons probably that when I looked at this was a terrible trade. Now, on the other hand, because you're talking about the NAS trade, when I'm looking at this NAS trade, right, as in regards to taking it, it came out of this huge, whatever, long-term sideways into clean accumulation. It provided opportunity. Well, it didn't provide one, but if it did, the opportunity would have been in here, maybe in here, maybe in here. So after that point, I wouldn't take an entry like here, right? Your example of this right here, this is like asking me why I didn't take this long here because of the context of this market. Then it reset. It went through a longer term reset. It went through a longer term back and forth, started moving higher, came down, and now as the MA started to slope upwards, I took the long through here because now this is a fresh new ICI range of some new action. And as it started to move higher, great. That's what I got out of it. And then it went sideways again, right? So the trades and their context and what's happening there is very different. The only thing that you see similar is the fact that, hey, the ICI looked similar. But like I always try to say, the ICI is the easiest part. Anyone can draw a high, and at least if the MAs look somewhat good, the ICI is a decent one. There's nothing wrong with that. But the question is, are you within a market condition that's even worth participating in, right? And in my scenario, when I looked at this, I probably saw the prior action, the fact that we're here now, and it just doesn't make much sense to take this for me personally. Yeah, and like in this case, you had the sideways, price started moving, it undercut, it started to undergo the reaccumulation, and this is the first setup you had. So if I said this was bad, I don't know why I said that, but at this point right now, looking at this looks fine as a trade right here. There's nothing wrong with that. That trade makes more sense. It's still early in that given trend. Ruben says, hey, Anton, last week you said US 100 was overextended on the daily and you wanted to see a reset. And we got that, right? Or we got somewhat of a reset. Not super reset. I mean, we didn't get a full-on blown downwards. But again, the daily is far enough separated from a 15-minute that you could get a day or two out of a move. And the pause was enough for me, right? The pause was a mini flush out on these lowers. Like the 4 hour is fine. The 4 hour was extended and it caught up. It allowed the 20 to catch up. It was still sloping upwards. And now I started looking for the trade, right? My trade wasn't here. If my trade was here, that would be troll on my part because now the 4 hour and the 50-minute are more connected. Take a look at the hourly, same thing's happening. This is way extended and it allowed itself to catch up to the 20 and 50 now on the hourly. And then I took the trade, right? Again, but this is just context. This comes from, again, repeating the same thing over and over again and taking the notes of the things you see. This is extended. This is not extended. It's very minor, very small difference, but the people that took 2 losses here, right? It doesn't make sense to take 2 losses there in my book, right? Same way if you look at this, like this is extended, this is not extended. Even though it's at the same price level, that's not extended, this is extended, right? Because these are things that I'm used to seeing. When price makes a rip away kind of like that, I need to see some kind of pause now. And when it happens, I'm happy to continue taking trades if it wants to set up. Zerk says, hey, Anton, I started my photo collection this week and just had another question regarding it. This might be dumb, but if I'm entering on the 1 minute, should I take photos of what the 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 45, and the hourly? You can scale that down to a less. Like you can do 1 minute, 15, and 1 hour if you want, right? To make it just a little bit more cohesive in the start. But yeah, you can do all of them as well. That's a way that you can learn very, very quickly, right? But I would do general ones, right? Try to use maybe the rule of whatever, 4, maybe the rule of 30. So maybe like a 1 minute, a 5 minute, a 30 minute, and just a higher time frame, like a 4 hour, 2 hour, something like that. One of those. So, but those are all fine. Yeah. What do we have here? Why on lower time frame better to look at after ICI activation? It's not. It's the same across all the time frames. So like, for instance, on whatever, on NAS right here, NAS in front of you, like I'm a 15-minute base trader, so if I look at a 2 hour or something, right, like I guess this is a bad example, but yeah, this one doesn't work out perfectly. But you do that on any. So like if your lower time frame is a 15-minute, you can do that same kind of follow through on a 4 hour, right? You can view the like ICI or the validation of the MBs here and view this as your higher time frame, right? And then you can scale down to your time frame of entry and follow the criteria to get an entry here, 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 or here, right? Because that's still part of that same move, right? So it's the same thing. It's not that for the lower time frame you would now use the ICI validation or the FMB validation. You guys have seen me use that validation across all time frames all the time. A single trade is just a little blip now. Exactly. Right? And then the winner, so now at this point, like a single trade, a single loss, a single break even is a tiny blip in time. It doesn't matter. And then a single win that ends up happening over time builds your account quickly, right? Hi man, I've been a member mostly on the public YouTube since 2020, since July of 2023. Finished all the YouTube videos in 2 months. Now watching all the webbies. I'm at 65. Holy shit, good for you, dude. You're gonna learn a fuck ton very quickly. But I developed a strat with your concepts and started backtesting and made some rules and stuff. Here are the equity curves. Okay. Okay. I don't see an equity curve, but oh, he sent it here. I see. I mean, yeah, they look great. You're looking at a 30% win rate with a growing account. Yeah. I mean, that's beautiful stuff, dude. How do you choose the protection in your green box for the ICI? Why do you sometimes protect under the swing low of the ICI and sometimes lower, even though the swing low is inside the green box? Just based on the price. Honestly, that's it. Like, sometimes I'll protect the swing. Sometimes because there's a lot of bodies here, I'll just protect under the bodies. On this 15-minute, when I took it, right, it just made sense to protect under this swing and under these swings because of how the setup looked, right? Wouldn't want to see it go below there. And the green box presented an opportunity for me to do that. So let me go like this. Whoops. All right, there you have it. All right, and the green box started around there, so I'm just going to protect like midway through, throw it under that low. You could have even done under these lows here. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just small changes in your stop can have big changes in the reward, right? So for any reason, when you entered this, you really just protect right at the green box, right? Instead of this being a 3RR gain, all of a sudden, right, this still holds the same way, right? Most of the time when I'm right, I'm right. Price very rarely comes back down. Very rarely. Like, with the very rare exceptions of like this trade back here when I took it. This one right here. I don't have prices ever really do this in my trades, right? When I'm correct. Oftentimes when it does this, I lose, right? Yeah. You can see when it does it, I lose, like almost always. And even if I threw it here, it would have been the same loss. It wouldn't change anything. But what's cool is on the winners, when you try, because I try to get a tighter stop if it makes sense. Otherwise, I'll just protect where the protection makes sense. So like here, if you just threw it at that green box, let's say under these bodies, right? That same trade that returned me, whatever, it was like 5RR, right? 5RR. Like this is already up 10RR here, right? It's already an insane difference in regards to that trade, right? Just the same partial here would be 4.3, and this one would be 2.3. What's that? 4, 5, 6. That's plus 6.9. So just with that stop adjustment, instead of earning 5RR, you earn 6.9 or 6.6RR. So you gain an extra 1.6RR for that small change. But again, the question is, are you willing to take the loss if it just taps here and then goes? Or are you willing to take on the potential 1RR less for making this stop? That's really it. Those are the questions I kind of go through in my head before I take a trade and where I'm going to put my stop, right? That's really why that happens. There's no correct answer as to the green box and you have to put it right there and it's perfect. Like the reality is when I'm right, I'm right very quickly, and price very rarely returns. Just wanted to say thank you. After the Eureka moment, everything is coming together nicely. Good, dude. That's beautiful. Dan says his break-evens paid for Disney a few months ago, and now they're paying for his wedding. There you go, dude. How much sleep do you get per night? I don't know. My sleep's all over the place. I found break-evens also prevent wins, but it really helps reduce max drawdown. So that's the thing, right? Break-evens for me don't really prevent wins, right? Because I created break-even rules that make the most sense that when they're tapped, I'm likely wrong about price. That is why I have break-even rules the way I have them. If you found that your break-evens are consistently keeping you out of 5RR runners, then maybe you don't break even until later. Or maybe you don't even have a break-even rule at all. But what I found is through my rules, I can reduce drawdown, 1, and make more money by breaking even. So now actually, special moment for everyone that's here, we had a member look over my personal trades and do a full analysis. So let me, yeah, so he posted right here. So Capo, thank you for putting this together. Really, really cool of him. Really appreciate that he put this together for us. He went over all of my Mentifex trade ideas. So he went over all my trades. He went over for the last 100 trades, okay? Just for fun. And he tested these things. He tested a 3RR fixed with a break even at 1RR. 3RR fixed with a break even at 2RR. You know, if anything, I would ask him to go back. So Capo, if you're watching this, if you can go back and do one test where you do a 5RR or like a 3RR fixed with no break even, I'm going to write that right now. Okay, so I'll ask him to do that. So we'll take a look. But he went through and he analyzed my results if I had used any of these. So you used the 3RR fixed, 1 BERR, 2 BERR, 4RR, same thing, 5RR, same thing. He used Mitchell's system where it's 80% of 3RR, then trail, then 80%, and then trail. And then he used my actual, like based on what I'm actually doing right now. Because he can look at my actual results there, right? So here is my performance, right? You guys have seen this over the time. So these are the last 100 trades. So it ends up at around 110% or so, it looks like. 110, 120 of just 1RR, 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 not compounding. With compounding, it's like 130%, 140%, something like that. But okay, 110. Okay, and then he looked at, let's go a simpler one, fixed 5RR, right? So again, in this case, it still makes money, just makes whatever, 90RR. Okay, here's fixed 4RR. In this case, it makes around 80, and it goes up to around 95 with a 1RR BE instead of a 2RR BE. Okay? In this one, it goes up to around 75, and it's the same result with a 1RR or a 2RR BE. So you're starting to see that the break-even level, whether it's high or lower, sometimes doesn't have really any effect on the overall curve, right? So in that case, you can protect the bottom line. You can protect your capital by doing something relatively easy, right? So in some cases, maybe it's not preventing wins, right? I mean, I'd be interested to see what would happen if you used no break-even. So we'll see if Capo has any time on him and ends up doing this. And if he does, then that's going to be really cool to take a look at that. But again, for my personal testing, yes, it prevents drawdown, like huge drawdown, but it also, it honestly, I feel like it makes me money, right? Like, because the only thing that's different, the way I think about it, is you might get one runner, okay? You might get one runner out of these things, right? Maybe you get one runner. But the way I think about it is look at any point that was break even, right? So like, I don't even know where to find them, but like something here was a break even. Sorry. Okay. Make it a loss. Now keep going on the curve. Okay. Maybe there was a break even here. Make it a loss. Now keep going on the curve, right? Maybe there was a break even inside of here. Make it a loss. Maybe there was a break even here. Make it a loss. Then it keeps going with the curve. Make it a break even. Make it a loss. Make it a loss. Then it keeps going with the curve. Maybe make it a break even, but this break even ends up running for a win. Whoa! And then we take a break even, and then we take the wins, right? And all of a sudden you start realizing that, holy shit, right? The fact that you're breaking even is saving you that extra percent, that 0.75%, which compounds into your next potential win. And the extra win that you might have taken during a time where you would have broken even is not even worth it because you actually make more money by breaking even. Right, so this is why I have my break-even rules. Hey, man, can you walk me through the EMA, how to set it up, or where can I find it? Put on the MentaFX structure indicator, and then just activate the ones you want, and then the values you want. I just use the 20 and 50. Very simple. And the way you put it on is you go to the hashtag welcome, and you just follow this right here. William says, my break-even trade was the exact reason I passed my verification because I understood there was still potential for one more loss, then price went straight to my TP. There you go. Right? And like, you'll even see it in this hashtag the system video, the one where I spoke about me, you know, I just showed you guys how to get funded with a simple system, right? You have to realize, like, look at this. Okay, for the guy that said what he said, a lot of these break-evens here never delivered. They actually all lost. So imagine with a 6% max loss, 1% per trade risk for men funding. Okay, you take a win. Great. -1. But now instead of getting 3 break-evens, you take -1, -1, -1. Now you're actually at -1 RR on your overall account instead of +2. Okay? Then you take a win. Now I'm at +5 RR, and you would be at how much? +1 or +2 RR, right? Let's keep going. Look what happens throughout this test. Many of these break-evens ended up as losses. So imagine now, those break-evens are all losses. 3, 6, 9, 12. So 12 RR gained. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 RR up. Now you're 5 RR up versus me being 12, 11, 10, 9 RR up. So I've made 4 more RR than you by having break-even, which means that now, even if you take a win on one of these break-evens, I've still made more money with my break-evens. That is why I protect risk. For that exact reason. And then if you put compounding into the equation, you make even more money because now the risk you're taking is higher per trade because your break-evens are preventing losses, which means that you're actually risking higher. Okay? You understand that? Because if you're losing, you're reducing risk based on compounding. Seen. Already entered a model. Yeah. When would you stop looking for setups after a stage 2 validation? When it becomes extended. Or after it's delivered a good amount of stage 2. That makes sense for the delivery. So again, this is the problem, right? So this is like this is where the gambling takes effect, right? So Ruben says, you say break even saved you 13 RR, but I remember one of those ran like 15 plus, but you got stopped out of break even. Did it really save you anything? Yeah, it saved me a ton of money, right? So even though I prevented 13 losses, let's say that I took all those losses. Great. Now I'm at minus 13 RR. That means my risk is now reduced. Does a 15 RR runner mean that I made 15%? No. Most of my 15 RR runners make me how much? Maybe 3 to 6 to 7. So I potentially can make an extra 7 RR with less compounded risk because of the fact that my risk cannot increase. So I actually make around 5 RR, maybe 4 RR on my account for taking more losses. Okay. So yeah, it actually did save me. It saved me a lot more money. This is the problem though. You see me break even 13 times, and then you see a 15 RR plus runner and you go, oh, it would have paid for itself. No. You're misunderstanding how risk works, right? Got a question for you, Anton. I'm really starting to see how almost everything you teach is the same thing fractally. Yes. I'm curious, how come you've created all these different entry types? Like, how did those different perspectives of the same thing come to fruition? A lot of teaching, literally. That's actually where it came from. I understood very early, well, I mean, I hope that you've seen it firsthand, that I'm a generally okay teacher. I'll give myself that kind of badge of honor. I'm an okay teacher, okay? Which means that when I spoke to any one person, I understood inherently that people will learn in different ways and see different things for themselves that can still be profitable long term based on what actually makes sense in that moment to that person. So a lot of the teaching and the experience of my own doing and just evolving allowed me to start to kind of see firsthand how all these things function fractally, because it's the same thing over and over and over again, as you know. And there's ways to view them that might make more sense to one person and less sense to another. Did you create them while forcing yourself to look for different fractal perspectives? Yes. Or some members who looked at it differently gave you a new both. So I would say that members specifically accounted for maybe 10 to 20% of the overall shift in how I viewed everything and then taught it, right? And then 80% of it was the actual act of explaining it to someone. It's one of my goals to just be able to do that. So just trying to understand what mindset I should adopt through my journey to be able to do that at some point. Yeah. My why is my family 100%. I'm doing it to spend more time on them and creating experiences for my kids. Good. Dan said mistakes happen. Yeah, they do. Row 8 was a trade I took out of FOMO. Didn't wait for a certain rule. It's about being able to snap yourself back in the right mindset or punish yourself somehow by realizing that the more and more you take the same mistake, you're just likely to lose altogether. Yeah, like there can be minor moments like that, especially when you already know you're fully profitable. This is very different from the classic act of, I know I'm profitable, I make a mistake, I double down, I make that mistake again, I double down, I want to make money back, I fuck up, right? It's very different to have a mistake, because I've made mistakes too. I still make mistakes, but those mistakes are not mistakes where it's like, fuck, I'm taking food out of my kid's mouth. Instead, it's mistakes like, I followed my rules, I somewhat followed them. There are things I could have done better here. A part of this could have been minorly emotional. I should work on not doing that. But even if I repeated this mistake, it's very likely I would still make money, right? So those are very, again, gray area, but two very different kinds of mistakes that you can make. Onions is a little emotional. We will eat boiled rocks this month. Yeah. Juan says, I've been in your mentorship for over 2.5 years now. At one point, I wasn't following my rules as soon as I started trading live, and I stopped trading for 5 months and punished myself to watch all your videos twice. It's not a punishment to watch my videos. Okay, hold on. I'm just kidding. Made the same mistake and stopped trading for 3 months without watching video or looking at the charts. Now, 3 months ago, I came back and finally stopped making the stupid mistakes that I was making before. Now I'm ready to get funded. And now you're going to get a golden name, baby. Beautiful, dude. Good luck. Follow those rules. You know what's required of you now. You've gone through the turmoil and the nonsense. Now it's time to improve that, right? He caught a 1 to 30 while I waited for a reset. What? On a 5-minute? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it came out of that move. It was the initial part of that initial move, and you took the buy stop through the high. Yeah, this is fine. This is great trade. Good job, dude. Hi, man. Can you explain what you meant in the last one-on-one when you say the MAs get crazy? Yeah, when they get choppy. When there's more chop involved in them. I think I even like circled the moments that kind of point that out to me. And can you explain what you mean when the MA is slightly up and instantly go down? Because you say this shows no power buyers come to market. Yeah. That's like what happened with UJ that 1 week, if you remember it. Let me go back a little bit. Where was this? Does anyone remember that date when that happened? Was it here? Was this where it created that long-term range? Let's see. I don't remember exactly where it was. No, it wasn't here. If anybody knows the date of that, oh, there we go. Okay, we found it. I found it. We're good. No need for the date. So like this moment here, right? This is when I spoke about it. Initially, when this happened, right? You had normal and good market movement, at least somewhat normal. I mean, got a little bit choppy, and then you had this big move down. Okay, so they started instantly sloping down, right? I mean, the 50 like instantly corrected down, the 20 just boom, like it literally looks like this. The 20 and the 50 looks like that. Usually, the way I kind of think about it is that jaggedness, big jaggedness in MAs, is a representation that there is no clear or consistent buying/selling on behalf of the composite operator or the big money, right? What it means is there's uncertainty in the way that the market's going to move. You see how this moves very linearly, even downwards, linear, and then gets bought up very cleanly, you can expect some move to come out of that because there's buyers stepping in slowly and algorithmically to move price higher. Here, look at the jaggedness you start to see. No buyers are coming in cleanly or linearly. Look at this. This is random buying and selling coming in spurts. That's uncertainty. That means someone doesn't know how it wants to be bought. If the 50 does something like this, right, you're showing me over time there is smart buying that is happening, clear buying. But this is showing me that there's uncertainty behind the buyers or sellers that are coming into the market. It's in spurts. They don't know where it wants to go. It's in spurts. And as a result, you get what? A spurty market that does nothing for the next however long this was, right? And I stayed out of this entire range just because of this initial thing that happened here, and then the fact that the range became too long-term. We stayed out of all of that. And then you got proven, it proved to you, right? And then you can even see it with the MAs if you really want to. If you take a look at how the MAs are moving here, they're in jagged curves. That's showing you that the money coming into this is not consistent in its buying and selling. It's just showing you firsthand that the money coming into it, the orders that are being placed in the market are not happening in a algorithmic function in a, hey, buy this up, it's a good price. Buy this up, it's a good price. Buy this up, take it higher. It's happening in like, fuck, do we buy? Fuck, do we sell? Fuck, I don't know what I want to do. That's what I see when I see that, right? And again, notice that I don't have to see the order books to know the truth. You can look at the price. You can understand how money's moving into it. Is money consistently being pumped into this thing, or is it consistently being randomly stripped out and put in, right? And at the same time, without even any of that, the fact that you made a range that lasted longer than like this is showing you that as well. And then it confirmed itself. This is random money coming in left and right. No one has any idea where it actually wants to move. That's one of the ways that I use the MAs as well. There's a major difference between understanding context and then breaking rules. Yeah, exactly. You're looking for a short on Bitcoin? I don't know. I ain't for that. I am not for that. I mean, yeah, it's breaking down on the intermediates here. So, and now, I mean, you're getting some slope downward, so maybe you can get some kind of move like this, but I would be waiting to long this thing, personally. Right? What I see this doing right now is churning up soon, coming up here probably, and then a setup here to keep going. Right? Like, this is almost perfect for a setup, for continuing to watch it for setups. I mean, it's not ready for longs now. I mean, it was ready for longs here, and now it's going to reset up likely for a longer, like, you know, again, stage 1, stage 2, stage 1, stage 2. Now you're going through stage 1, right? Again, you can almost see exactly the things I've been talking about in the last few one-on-ones, in the last few ICI extras, in the context clues videos. Same thing. I'd be watching for that movement here. The short doesn't make much sense to me. It looks very random. But if rules are being met and you make money with this, run that shit any day, right? Let's say redistribution, I want to get involved. This be a 2.0, I can get involved and I can't open the file, so I'm not gonna make me a cup of coffee. Good. Coffee is the best. I have some right here, right now. Yeah, like Bitcoin has been beautiful, guys. I talk about this all the time. I've been talking about this for weeks. How long has the screener, guys, shown you that Bitcoin is being bought up? Like, this is what I love. I'm literally sitting here about my own tools, but like, how long has this screener first and foremost told you that Bitcoin is in a very good longing condition? Does anyone remember? It started going fully green. I believe it was fully green around this point right here. Fully green. Yeah, around 30K. Exactly. Yeah, around 30K. Yep. Just under 30K. Just as it kind of broke this high. I know, actually, I think as it broke this high, it became accumulation across the board. And since then, you have seen this. And the expectation still, I'm looking for this. I mean, so this is the problem. I'm trying to figure out the best way to trade Bitcoin right now, but I've just not been trading it, so I haven't been looking at it. But just so you guys know, this is one of the markets that I would be watching right now actively taking these trades if I had a way to trade it in a really, like, in a good area to trade it. Like, this is perfection. Like, I sent this out yesterday as prices around here just because somebody asked me about it, but this is perfection. If any of you took this trade here, or this one, or even at the late, I mean, this is a little bit late, but if you took that one too, right here, you are just fucking killing it. Meant my screener doesn't work. Whenever I log into it, it logs me out. Any suggestions on how to fix? Send over what happens. I'll take a look for you. Yeah, Dan on the Bitcoin. Yeah, exactly. So almost same area, same trade, just a little bit different, of course, because he enters off of the triple M. But yeah, exactly, right? Like, the entries were back here, and then it took off. Like, and I don't know, maybe I'll ask Dan too. Like, Dan, right now, you know, the guy sent a 15-minute sells out. Do you see a reason to even sell this on a 5-minute, let's say? Given the, yeah, okay, exactly, right? So again, you need to take into account context. Yes, this can make a move down, but it's really important that you notice what this market's telling you. It's a very clear story this market is telling you right now. I'm gonna flag it. And also, guys, yeah, you can now flag stuff. So, you know, flag stuff as you wish. And then you can, you can turn off the filters later, and then just, you can view your own flag stuff. So over time, you know, stuff will change, but you can take a look and be like, okay, you know, whatever I'd flagged here, is it still worth looking at, or should I take it off? So should help a lot of you with just simpleness, because we're going to be adding a ton of other pairs to this, like stocks and stuff, which is going to be really nice soon. Yeah, so Dan says it needs a long time to consider sells. If the lower time starts changing, yeah, exactly. There's way too much reason for this to go long, then it makes sense for you to start picking tops and shorts on this, right? Most of the people losing money on this right now is, guess what? The people that were going short here, 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 and now guess who is likely to lose money on this next? People going short here, 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 right? That's how moves happen. That's where the ICIs occur. That's why they happen. That's why this setup, right, is so powerful. This is the setup I teach you guys. If you just learn to spot these in good areas, oh my God, right? You've done it. Where was I? A little bit further down. Mistakes happen. Saw that. Looking good. Okay. He said, yeah, I saw that. Oh, Capo said, yeah, I saw that when reviewing your trades. Your winning trades nearly always go from your entry and not play around. Exactly. But yeah, so Capo, you're actually in here. That's awesome. If you want, if possible, try to put together a quick one. I don't know, even if you could do it right now in the table based on how you have it made. Try to make all the break-evens into -1s instead. Or wait, because they're not all -1s. Sorry, I'm dumb. Yeah, so maybe you can't do that. But if you can, take a look at what would happen if you didn't take break-evens at all. So all break-evens would be -1s or wins, right? What are your break-even rules? Either price reaches 1 to 3 or R, and then I just break even, or price builds a momentum line, whatever you want to call it, trend line, that failing it would mean that price has lost full momentum. And at that point, I'll move to break even. So if I'm in a trade at this entry price and price moves like this is enough of a move down for me to envision momentum to be lost. So I'll move to break even. Very simple. So like on Bitcoin right here, if I took this trade, which I didn't, remember that, guys, I did not take this because I don't have a way to trade it, but it's a phenomenal trade. If I took this trade right here, I would break even at, so this is the 1 to 3 level. So either you break even when it reaches here, or I'd break even before that because, right, if you draw the line, a failure of this line now, like so, would be clearly a loss of momentum. So I would probably break even on this around here. At that point, actually, let me think. Probably at this point, so if you envision the next candle, next candle. At this point right here on that candle, I'll be at break even, right? That's it. Very, very simple. So in this case, the momentum rule is met first. But again, remember, you do not have to complicate your journey in the beginning. It's not necessary. You can start with very simple rules and make a fuck ton of money. Remember, we had someone put this together for us. Where was it? Someone put it together for you to show you it firsthand. This is my rules. Yes, it makes more money. But this is rules with a simple 1R RBE to our RBE. Guess what? With my same system, it made like 20% less, 30% less. Very good. With a simple 1R, 2R RBE, it makes like 90%, 80%, ADRR, right? They all make money. So don't start off complex because it's just going to make you tunnel vision and do dumber shit early. Because again, you don't have an understanding of what you're going to be of every you just don't have a full-on understanding of what any move can do at any given point. So you doing stuff early or too early can fuck your psychology over more than doing something very simple at the start and then improve it over time. Hi, man. I have a little question regarding accumulation and reaccumulation. I made drawings. Maybe it can help explain my question. Always but waiting for a double MB. But would you say it is valid to look for longs from there? I don't see a photo. At what point do you actually compound? 50% account gain, 100%? At any point. But I shared my own compounding strategy right over... When was it? Here. So you go to File, you make a copy, right? So if you're trading that $2 million account that we're looking at in this scenario here, right? It's reached 2,300,000 or so. Okay, great. So put in 2,300,000. I have my upper and lower limit, which is 25%. So right now, your risk per trade should be around 17,250. That's it. That's based on these rules that I provided here. Okay? Which I think works out to being about 0.75%, if I'm correct. So that's 2.3 mil times 0.075. Yeah, so you can see 0.75% is usually around the risk that I have on my trades. That's really it, right? And then once you reach 2,800,000, 2,875,000, you'll see your risk will go up. Okay? Until you're at 3.5 mil now. This is my general risk sizing. Okay, that's all in there. Meant I have a weird question, but maybe you can formulate an answer to it. What would you say are the 3 things that are stopping profitable traders? Win rate in relation with average RR is positive, and the back testing from being able to pass your fund the challenge. What are 3 things? I don't like to do the whole, like, give me 5 things that I think that the only thing that's standing in between them and being profitable is their own emotions, their ability to follow their rules, right? That's really all it comes down to. So lack of confidence is what it comes down to. Since we're already talking about management here, I'd like to share mine. I'm taking 1/3 at 3R, move to BE, then I take 1/6 that's... What do you think of it? I mean, it's fine. Whatever you want to follow for your rules is perfectly fine if it makes money. Right? Perfectly fine. One rule I'm considering to prevent premature BE is just to let price come once to entry after 1-to-1. If bounced, now you can BE pretty safely. Sure. I appreciate you, Dragana. Thank you. Sure to know what you're doing. Thank you, man. October somewhere was a huge range. I remember Ment saying he isn't going to trade that range until it clears. Yep, exactly, right? I mean, it's all in the webinar, so it's all there, but that's exactly what happened. I said that day, the day this move happened right here, the day it happened, I said, we're likely going to be stuck in a range-bound market for the next few weeks. Like, you can literally find the day this happened. When was it? The 3rd of October. I'm just going to show you guys, because again, like, go to MetaFX Trade Ideas. The 3rd of October. So we'll go to the 2nd. Did I post in the trade ideas? Okay, so we go to the 2nd, then we go down to 1.5. Yes. Look at this. So this range occurs, okay? Boom, it's made right then and there. It gets created. And I said, ha ha ha, the people that don't manage risk just out for. Okay, so yeah, those people lost a bunch of money. Slower day, whatever. News fucked up the price, so may need to give it some time. Okay. Oh, I actually said it would get better in 2 to 3 days. So that's the idea of waiting for it to correct nicely now, given the huge move, because it was a big red news day. Where was the UJ? Yeah, UJ is a sloppy mess, as anticipated due to the move from last week. So that was already a week forward. Where are UJ? Might have taken one trade on UJ, but where is it? Nothing here. US 100, US oil, some cryptos, gold. Well, no, I mean, you guys can see there's no UJ here at all because, well, it's very clear what UJ was telling us, right? Oh, and that's 50 trades in with our huge losing streak. Oh my god. Yeah. So happy I haven't touched UJ ever since this range creation. Yep. Just a perfect representation of how money is eaten up by those that may not want to be patient about a move. Money is cyclical. Money needs to move in and out of markets. Even though these markets are tradable, there's consistency behind what they tend to do. This is exactly what we had discussed, and that's exactly what this move is doing. Even if you were correct in this market, the likelihood is that A, you get stopped out even while you're doing something right, and then definitely taking a lot of wins. And some people, well, 3 people thought you're definitely taking wins. Not me. There we go. So, like, again, like this, as this first occurred, it was very clear what price was likely going to do. And then from there, right, you had exactly what was suspected. And the people that traded it lost a lot of money in trading it, because it was clear as day that the market was not ready. Right? There it is. And then we had the huge correction. So even if you got it right, somehow inside of here, you just had a huge correction after. And when am I following UJ? Now I'm following UJ, right? Like, that's what's interesting. All this time, you guys all know UJ has been off my list until just recently. Now I'm watching it again. And now we have this high, and this high is very likely to get ran now. Like, I can't wait for this. Hopefully I can get involved on it, right? Yanis says, just want to thank you for the hard work and trustworthy work you put to teach us these concepts. Like, you are mostly the reason people... I appreciate you a lot, man. Thank you. Y'all going to make millions long in Bitcoin? Yep. Yep. Matt, my screener doesn't work. Oh, yeah, we went over that. Does backtest count? Does it count? Of course it counts. I mean, sure, it looks fine. Based on just what I'm looking at here. It's a lot of stuff, but if it's following rules, you're good. Dan says, otherwise there's that disconnect and likelihood you're going to lose in the long term when there's a higher time frame and lower time frame disconnect. Yeah, exactly. The more you trade markets that are disconnected across time frames, across just the delivery of them, the more losses and unsuspecting losses you're just going to take. There's just no point. It's just not worth it, right? Find the markets that are clear and just trade them. It's really as simple as that. It's almost weird how simple it is. Find the markets that are generally telling you something and look for opportunities on them, right? I don't understand how to use to filter for the screener. Take a little bit of time on it. Take some photos. It'll become very, very clear after some time, right? Filter for something super clean, something clear. Even filter mine here. It's very simple. I have a daily, a 4 hour, and a 1 hour. I don't catch everything because of these filters, but that's fine. Filter for all bullish and then do after all bearish if you want. Then look at it, right? This is all bullish, which means that generally, as you move to these markets, there's going to be bullishness on them. That's really all it comes down to. And then the question is it worthy of actually being traded, right? And like you'll see NAS here, and last week, what did I trade? I traded NAS, right? Right here. That's all. Do you BE a bit above entry to account for commissions? Nope, I don't need to. Was this Bitcoin? Yeah. This is just perfection, right? Higher time frame, clearly bullish. The screener, so the guy that asked about the screener has already showcased something very clear about Bitcoin. Generally bullish, right? Came out of whatever the higher time frame range was, started to move, accumulated, started its move, and you took the ICI through the top, right? Literally just perfection, right? Here's the ICI he took. Same setup as always, right? Buy stop the high, through the stop under either the body or the wick in this case. So again, if he went the body, just this move here would have been almost double times 2 the RR, right? So if he made 20 RR here, this would have been 40 RR. Just with a stop movement like to down here or down here. But that's how risk works. You just need to be willing to take the loss, the most acceptable loss, right? And in his case, the most acceptable loss was through this low. That's perfectly fine. Started his move and voila, you're off. He gets stopped out with the SL, it resets, and now it's going through a little bit of sideways. But again, like if this can again on a higher time frame validate again, come out, and then set up the same thing here over here, that's going to be another beautiful trade. That's it. It's the same thing on repeat now for him. Yeah, great trade, man. These kind of intuition comes from at least 20,000 hours spent on charts. Yep. At the beginning, you have to keep it simple for yourself. Damn, I didn't know you still use that risk sizing method. I mean, it's really not that complex. It's just basically risking 0.75% per trade. That's all that's happening, right? This just keeps you a little bit more accountable. Because now you have limits. So all that's happening is on win streaks, you're upping your risk. On losing streaks, you're actually downing your risk, right? That's all. To start with, I majorly overcomplicated my BE and partial rules. Now testing fixed R RTPs with 1R RBE. Good. Oh, and Philip said, I said it in the next webinar after that move. So yeah, on UJ, in the webinars, I know I discussed how so many people are going to be losing money in that huge range, right? Yeah. I spoke about how many people are going to be doing the wrong thing here, and there's no point for us to be involved in that. Yep. That is why, again, as you work through the webinars, they are their own course. You will learn a fuck ton from them. You're learning from actual live price that I personally followed, that I personally analyzed, that I personally decided whether it was worth to follow or not. Okay. Man, thanks for the webbies. I gotta go, but I'll catch the rest. I'll see you, man. Appreciate you. Can we get a hashtag algo? I'll think about it. Hey, Anton, if you're trading lower time frames, is the 1 hour and 50-minute alignment enough on the screener, or should we also include 4 hour and daily? I like to have more alignment. That's my way of doing it, but you can use those two. That's fine. Up to you. I'm having problem with my log. I don't know what problem you have, but, you know. It's good. You should fix it. Have you thought about widening the screener so that we don't need to scroll left to right to see all time frames? No, I haven't. But you can always get rid of some too. Where can we find the METHFX management tool in the Google Sheet? It's in section 4. See ya, Peace Pod. Okay, let's do a breakdown of the 2 trades I took last week. We'll go through a quicker breakdown of CAD JPY and US 100. Okay, so first and foremost, just coming into the week, this is what the screener in general read. So very bullish across the board. One time frame bearish, whatever, but that doesn't bother me that much because again, it comes down to the charts, not to the screener. The screener is just kind of a first-hand look at what's moving and what's likely going to be clean, and then I can just go ahead and look at those markets myself. So here's CAD JPY. Now it's a little bit, yeah, so it looks around the same. This is what it really looked like from the very start of the week. Yeah, CAD JPY, basically exactly the same thing, right? Start of the week. And then first thing I do is I kind of want to just see where I am in the context in the charts. Like, where do I exist at the moment on this market? So we'll start with the daily because it's usually just the first time frame I'll look at. Okay, so again, left to right, it becomes very clear what this thing is up to, right? You had a very clean kind of accumulation into a beautiful run up, mini reaccumulation. So it breaks down, reaccumulation, validates, then fails the reaccumulation, breaks down, breaks up, breaks down. So you enter a form of distribution right around here, and distribution begins to deliver. So that's all distribution. Price then breaks long again. You instantly probably assume redistribution, or because of the higher time frame, that it could be starting an accumulation. So probably during these times here, I wouldn't even be touching anything. I wouldn't try to go short or anything. I'd just be waiting. Breaks down to confirm the redistribution, and then blah, 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 breaks up. So at that breakup right here, right, as it comes out of this kind of chop in the sideways range, starts to go higher across the MAs and whatnot, you instantly assume that you've likely entered an accumulation market and that the market wants to reach for this high. That's how you actually understand where liquidity is, right? That's the easiest way. So you understand price wants to reach for that high. You can see where we are now, but lo and behold, price starts a beautiful, beautiful run up. Makes multiple MBs higher, protected lows are moving higher and higher and higher, and then breaks down once. This is the clearest, as clear as day reaccumulation you can get. Price moving higher, breaks down once, reaccumulation. You assume that it's going to run this high. You can start following it on a lower time frame in here and then in here, and that makes a beautiful run. So the reaccumulation continues, makes multiple MBs higher, and then breaks down again, and then breaks down again. Again, this is the same thing. At both of these points, you assume reaccumulation. Most importantly, because of the higher time frame, which is very likely still in just a very bullish criteria. Yeah. So the bullish is still in huge reaccumulation, the weekly. And again, this is the high that price wants to reach for. It's just telling you that this high, it wants to just fucking destroy this high, right? So that's what I see as I look at this on a higher time frame. It's just as clear as day, and you're in a beautiful reaccumulation model. So if you want to think back to section 1 of the mentorship, you're looking at this movement right here, right? Your expectation is this. Very, very simple. From a standpoint of like, why does it want to keep making higher highs, higher lows? Because it's in reaccumulation. It's validating that across multiple time frames, and now it's as clear as day that that's where it wants to go on this one. Section 1, material 2. There's your structure, whatever you want to call it, right? So very clean. Now, I already know a lot of the other time frames are bullish, but again, what I like to do personally is I like to step down to my 3 main ones. So as you know, I have a 15-minute entry, 1 hour validation, daily, higher time frame. And then the screener picks up the slack of all these time frames and all these time frames. That is why I use the screener, okay? So I can leave my system to be very, very generally simple in regards to what are these showing me? Are they even worth trading, right? That's all. So I'll jump straight to the hourly. I don't even really care about the 4 hour when I look at something like this. And I take a look, okay? So the hourly is, I mean, you guys can call it out as you see it. What model is this? I mean, the indicator already tells you, but you guys should all already understand why and what it is. This is a reaccumulation model, okay? Prices are clearly moving long. It underwent a longer term blueprint over here, right? Very long-term range, came out of the range, broke down, broke up, broke down, broke up. That's accumulation, okay? Price comes out of the accumulation by making new protected lows higher and higher and higher, and has now broken down once, twice. Now again, right, if you look at the market without even, so like, let's say it broke down 4 times. Let's say it went like this. It came up. Okay, I'm going to do one thing for you guys really quick because I really want this to get cemented in your minds in regards to the the indicator versus your mind, okay? So now it broke down once. Let's say it did this. 2, 3, 4, and then started doing this. What model is this without it breaking the high? Okay, so a lot of people are saying redistribution. Kenny says reaccumulation, and I actually agree with Kenny, right? So the indicator at this point will say redistribution or distribution, very likely, okay? But this is where your very beginning section 1 comes in handy. The context of the higher time frame and the fact that the run-up started from here to here makes this a very clear reaccumulation if it wants to give you setups. So even if this entered distribution within the indicator, this is where your own understanding of market movement should be understood as a reaccumulation still, right? This is where it can get a little bit confusing for some people. Like, this is where some of you might not even use this as a rule just yet. But again, the fact that the run-up started here and then a move comes down, this is still as clear as day bullishness, right? Despite what this might say. In this case, the indicator got it right, so it doesn't matter, right? Because it only broke down once, then twice, right? And then it started a long move. So in this case, it didn't matter at all. But that's what I'm seeing, okay? Actually, it really depends on how deep it is. Yeah, exactly. So if these 2 MBs right here, guys, if these 2 MBs were like this, I would probably not watch this market, even though it would still be in reaccumulation. Does everyone understand that? I mean, it would depend a lot on how they deliver too, because like if this happened, it could still be absorption. And then if price began to move very, very cleanly, I would still consider following it, right? But very likely if it did this, the MAs are going to do something like this. And then they're going to get really choppy and then there's no reason to watch, right? So again, these are contextual clues that you need to be kind of considerate of. This is why you can't rely on one like indicator or whatever, but usually this will do a very good job. Nonetheless, so the hourly at this time is in a clear reaccumulation. Same thing. You have the SSC or the section 1 institutional structure moving long. You have the protected lows going higher into clear reaccumulation. You expect longs. And then at the time of me looking at this, which was around here-ish, okay, what do you see? Well, for me personally, I see price validating MBs to the long side. Okay, so demand is becoming valid to the top side. And at the same time, prices made its way above the MAs. The 50 is just sloping down, but potentially going to go sideways over the next few hours, which is great. And the 20 is sloping straight upward. So again, these are kind of those moments where I am happy, based on a lower time frame, to watch for longs, right? Very, very simple. Nothing else for me to really do there. So at that point, clear as day that I want to see price make a move, and I want to see it make a move onwards through this high, because, you know, everything just lines up there. I can watch my 15-minute for an entry. Okay, so as I step down here, this is where it gets very fun, because a lot of you may have passed it up for a certain reason. As a lot of you might know, what is this model that's in front of you based on just the indicator? You should just look bottom right? This is a redistribution. Okay, price is moving lower, 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 broken up a few times, and it technically is a redistribution. But at the same time, this is where context is important. Take a look at where you're coming from, where you're going, left to right? Left to right, price undergoes its distribution, redistribution, breaks up again, starts breaking down, right? And then enters a choppier, longer term range that is now broken higher and starts moving higher. What does this move higher remind you of when, you know, in regards to the content I've released maybe recently? Yeah. An accumulation stage 1, some kind of a blueprint across timeframes in here, like longer term range into the breaks higher. Clearly above rising MAs, right? Clear rising MAs, prices being bought up. Okay. So in my mind, despite this being a redistribution, I'm viewing this break on its own as an accumulation. This is where The double MB rule, for instance, can take precedence over the model because of the context of the higher time frame, right? Yeah, MB1, MB2. I mean, like, this market's telling me that it very likely wants to make a move. And I'm happy to take a setup if it wants to set up. So again, despite the, say, the model here being a redistribution, I understand that, again, if there is even a break above this high, what does that make the model too? An accumulation. Yeah. Right, so you have a few things going for yourself there, and then, well, I'm just watching for some kind of swing, but everything here is very, very clear. Makes that initial move out of the accumulation. Very clearly, money is coming in. Very clearly resets. And now I'm waiting for some kind of high to be put in. A high gets put in. Okay? 50's coming up. 20 just sloped downwards into sloping up. I mean, this is... It's just as clear as day what this market wants to do. And at this point, I believe... Did I put my stop here? I think I put it down here, right? I don't remember. The DOM is the core of my entire strategy. Oh, double MB. Yeah. And get tapped in. Okay. That's all. Did I throw my stop under this low? I don't remember now. Yeah, I did. Okay, nice. I'm pretty good at that. Very nice. So I got tapped in. Okay. And from there on out, it's just a game of management. So again, you had the multiple time frame confirmation of bullishness. You got tapped into your trade. Everything is relatively clear. And now it's a game of management for me, right? The price move starts, plays around. Again, like for some of you, this is an opportunity right here. I mean, I don't see a high yet. So yeah, I mean, this just ends up going. So it's hard to trade that. But again, break even wise, you can break even. Yeah, this reaches 1 to 3. Done. I break even. Right? So even though the momentum loss doesn't make much sense yet, there's my 1 to 3. I broke even. Then it plays around, plays around, plays around, reaches a high all the way up here. I didn't take a partial there. I took a partial right there. If you guys remember this, just moved it with the burst. So this burst happened, and I started to move my stop under the low of the candle. Again, pinpointed the high. I'll show you guys that right now, just so you know. So here you go, right? Just threw my stop under this 50% right there. Looking for it to continue if it wants to, or to simply take me out. And lo and behold, price took me out on that candle. You can't see the low now because it was a live candle, and then it took me out. Stop losses moved to that low, and here we are at this price action right now. Right? That's all. The rest just comes with management. It's as simple as that. Now, again, if you are an even lower time from trader than this, then of course, as price validates your as price validates your FMB, if that's what you're looking for, or ICI, it's up to you. You can almost envision now what you're looking for, right? You have your stage 1 into what you can suspect to be your stage 2 right here. So you can now start getting involved. If you were trading a 1 minute or 30 second or 15 second, Philip says, look at the entry on the 1 minute, if there is one. So again, I think the 15 minute warrants a 30 or 15 second, just because of the testing I've kind of done. So I'd probably go to a 30 second here instead and take a look. Actually, I'll ask you guys, do you want to do a 30 or 15 second? Whoever says whatever comes first, I'll take that one. Okay, 15, sure. So we'll go 15. So again, same exact thing goes, right? You'll now watch for that same exact thing, right? Money's showing you that it's coming in now. Accumulation is clearly present. Now, the only question is, can you get a clean trade on this, right? Well, let's see. So I'd look for a reset just like that. Price comes up and builds an ICI across the top, right? This is exactly what I want to see. But in this case, there is no clean FMB. So I'd skip this high and I'd wait. Yeah, I would wait on this. Comes up. Right, FMB makes a high. So now I'd buy stop this. Now, again, I don't know exactly what your rules are, but I'm just going to use the overall simple ICI protection method, right? So I'll just protect. And what? We'll go 1 to 5 with a 1RR BE. Because that's what the guy tested. That's what Capo tested and said it works very well, right? So I'll go like this. There we go. That's 1RR. So that's where we'll break even. We'll keep it very simple on us. So it fails down, nothing to do, right? You get to, again, protect yourself by just having simple rules. Whoops. And move on to the next trade. right? Fails down into a reaccumulation, whatever builds itself up. FMB into a nice high. So again, like this is a fine opportunity in here, right? Just following the simple rules. 1 to 5. Okay, get tapped in. Break even at 1 to 1. Not yet. Okay, break even now. Done. Now the trade has paid for itself. Okay, you have a break even trade at minimum. There you go. Look at that. For the guy that asked earlier about, you know, why do you break even? This is why. We've saved money now officially, so we can continue to risk the same amount. Continue waiting. Now it enters distribution. So you can just probably ignore price now for a little bit. Wait for money to come in. Again, now it's ugly price action, so you wait. Let money come into the market. Let it reset. Let it give you a trade, right? So now you just wait. Let money come in. Let it reset. No reset yet, so just goes. Yep, let it reset. Let money enter the market in a clean way. I don't see anything yet. Let money enter. Let it set up a FMB. Sorry, let it set up an ICI. Take your ICI, throw your stop onto the low. Look for your 1 to 5. Break even at 1 to 1 after we get tapped. If we get tapped in, nothing yet. Get tapped in. Look for your break even at 1 to 1. Break even your trade. Fantastic. You've protected your risk. Now just let it do whatever it needs to do. Take a break even. Money still coming in. Longer term accumulation. Give it some time. Comes up the right hand side. Validates FMBs. But right now it's in a weird redistribution. But clearly it's an accumulation. So this is up to you. If you want to take this long, you can. Otherwise, you can wait. This is just preference. I would say this is a fine long. We'll just take it at price. Again, simple rules. Where is this? There we go. Simple rules. Throw your stop under. 1 to 5 up there. Gets tapped in. Look for your 1 to 1. Move your trade to... Oh, no break even yet, actually. So we'll wait. Move your trade to break even. Again, look at this. We prevented 3 potential losses just by breaking even. Now we're break even, 1 to 5, etc., etc., etc. Wait for a move. Misses our break even. Looks good. This is also why I do not account for commissions, just so you guys know. With the Met Manager, you are easily in this trade. You're actually even more in this trade because if you're buy stopping the high, it's way under it here, so you're perfectly good, but just reminding you guys of that. There we go. Visual sent back. I mean, yeah, and just repeat the process. Let this break even, or let it go, make a new move. Okay, breaks even. Fantastic. We just prevented 3 losses with a simple break-even rule. Hopefully the guy that asked me about that earlier understands why. Last BE was not a prevented loss. It wasn't. The one before this? Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I don't remember it. It's all good, though. So, again, wait for money to come in. You're clearly in your green area. Money comes in a somewhat not clean way. I mean, you're still stuck in, like, this bigger range. I would just wait here. So your 50-minute entry is so much easier. No, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. I do the same thing on the 50-minute. It just takes longer time. Accumulation. Reset. See if we get a nice move here. We don't. Enters distribution. Nothing to do. Wait for money to come in again. Again, you just repeat the same process. You're just going to be sitting in front of your computer all day doing this, right? That's the only difference. So again, wait for money to enter through accumulation. Blueprint, accumulation. Not yet, right? Blueprint. Likely going to enter accumulation now. Make a big move, hopefully, like to up here. Yeah, nothing to touch right now. So again, during all this time, you're sitting in front of your computer. Accumulation, starts a move, wait for a reset. Resets a little bit, starts a little sideways move here. Take the buy stop through the highs, throw the stop onto the low, look for your 1 to 5. Get tapped in, look for a 1 to 1. Break even, great. Wait for the next move, another loss prevented. Enters a more choppy market. You wait for a new accumulation to enter. Let money come in to the market. Nothing to do right now. It got very choppy. MAs are choppy. Price is choppy. Market doesn't know what it wants to do right now, right? I was going to say you can buy stop here, but it's fine. We missed it. So accumulation clearly enters. Let it reset now. Let it reset just like that. Come up and make an FMB. Start a setup. Buy stop the high, throw the stop under the low, 1 to 5, break even at 1 to 1. Doesn't tap you in. Wait for the next setup. Sets up another one here. 20 is just about to slope upwards. 50 just started sloping sideways. Still looks good for a trade, I would say, but I'd wait for one more because it's just not clear to me. Either way, it doesn't validate. We wait. There we go. Buy stop the high, throw the stop under the low, look for the 1 to 5. Throw it at 1 to 1 RR for break even. Get tapped in. Move to break even. Plus 5 RR. Okay, so you just made 5 RR with no losses. Well, with commission losses, okay? And there's your trade if you were trading a lower time frame, right? It's the same rules. It's the same thing. In this case, though, you're going to be spending, instead of me spending, what, 3 minutes on the charts, you probably are going to spend about... Started watching around here, right? No, we started watching around here. So you're going to spend about, so you're going to spend about 6 hours and 30 minutes on the charts that day, right? Which again, it's up to you, right? So if a lot of you like a 9 to 5 job, but you just want to be on your own time, this is what you could do. There's no problem with that, right? This is what I used to do back in the day when I started my mentorship initially with my much lower time frames, right? It's the same rules. It's the same moves. Nothing is different, right? Do you guys see anything that I did here that's different from what I do on my hires, or when I look over other setups, or when I do a back testing video or a live testing video off a daily, off an hourly, off a 4 hour, off a 15 second? It's the same moves, right? And again, all I waited for was a clear market condition, right? Clear market condition, clear accumulation coming in, money enters, money sets up an ICI, I buy stop it. And all I did was within the stage 2. Now, let me ask you, is it within at least 80% of the stage 2? If I look at this area. Yeah, it's super clear. This is exactly the concept I spoke about in the most recent hashtag context clues right here. So definitely after this video, after this webinar, check out this video right here. It's going to be very, very powerful and helpful. Okay. So now head back to your 15-minute and wait for a new stage 1 if you're trading a lower time frame. That's clearer to move on, right? Or continue managing your 5RR trade. So again, for the person that was keeping track of taking all the potential trades there, I think you end up at being like +4, right? With one of those winners. If you were taking every break even as a -1, except for one of those trades. So again, like you actually make more money. What did you say about 80% of the stage 2? I don't recall. Watch this video. So you wait for a new stage 1, more sideways. Wait for price to make like an FMB. Right? There you have it. And now envision again. Envision the next move. Jump to your 15-second. Right? And repeat the process. Price undergoes the long-term sideways. Enters accumulation. If we get a reset now, this is tradable. Let's see if we get one. It resets. It comes up the right-hand side. This is up to you. I probably wouldn't take this. I'd wait for a sideways now, if it can. There we go. Buy stop the high. Stop under the low. 1 to 5. Break even at 1 to 1. Doesn't tap you in. Okay. Fantastic. Another easy loss prevented with just following rules. Reaccumulation comes up, Beautiful sideways action. Buy stop the high, stop under the low. 1 to 5, break even at 1 to 1. Get tapped in. Move your stop loss. Nope, not yet. Move stop loss to break even. I would say that's a break even. Take a break even, right? Wait for the next setup. Starts going choppy. Wait for a clean new move higher, right? Enters distribution. Now it's just sideways. Enters somewhat of a bullish market. Okay, let it reset. Doesn't reset clearly enough for me at least, so I ignore this price. Let it reset. Let it build up a move. Let it go sideways. Buy stop the high. Stop under the low. Watch for your 1 to 5. Break even at 1 to 1. Buy stop in. Take a -1 finally. Wait for the next setup since the market's still clear. Sorry, I'll record the -1 for you guys. There we go. Beautiful. Wait for the next setup. Do the exact same thing. Goes higher. Just start sloping upwards. Buy stop looks fine as a reaccumulation or slash accumulation. Throw the stop onto the low. 1 to 5. Fails down. Cancel the trade. Starts a distribution. Wait for money to come in. Nothing yet, right? Wait for money to come in. Let it go sideways. And it goes crazy, so nothing to do. Yeah, I would not touch this. Money comes in, goes sideways, builds up a little range. Buy stop. Look for 1 to 5. Fails down. Cancel the trade, right? Fails down first, then it activates, but that doesn't matter. Then makes another setup right here. You can actually see it right now. Same exact thing, right? Take your buy stop. Stop under the low. 1 to 5. Break even at 1 to 1. Break even the trade. Watch for your 5RR. Take a break even. Now you're up at the upper part of like the stage 2. So taking an entry now should be you should be a little bit careful, and it's getting very choppy. So I would now ignore price for the rest of the day, and there's nothing to do. Okay. So again, guys, like, was anything that I just did inherently complex or something that you can only do if you're just the smartest person in the world? No, I followed the simple rules that I've tested for fucking 20,000 plus hours, right? Just doing the same thing and just did it on a lower time frame. So yeah. And again, for the person earlier that said something about the break even, do you see after I just did this test even how if you hadn't taken any break evens, there would be a very different result out of this right now? And I don't think it would be positive. I think it'd be negative. I think you'd be at like -1 or -2 RR right now instead of +4. If he's still here. It looks like he probably isn't, but that's okay. So yeah, there you have it. We're like 2 hours and 5 minutes in, aren't we? Holy shit. Okay. So very quickly then, Nas, again, same thing. Start of the week, very, very bullish context, very clearly bullish context, very easy to see that. As we go higher, you know, we're coming out of, I don't know what this is. We're coming out of this stage 1 into this beautiful stage 2 that's now emerging and moving higher. 1 hour, as I went down to it, we were extended, started going sideways, started validating some fractalized MBs here on a on just this time frame. So I started watching a lower. As we go to the lower, this was the validation of that FMB. Price fails down, comes up across the right-hand side, same exact thing, breaks, makes an FMB. Buy stop the high, the exact same trade you just saw in a 15-second, just on a 15-minute. Buy stop, throw the stop under the low, or if you were trading the ICI system, throw your stop under the, because you could look at this as your move. It's a little bit weirder, so maybe you use this one. Well, actually, it'd be hard to use it. I mean, I don't know what you would do in that specific scenario. You could just look at this one as well, based on how you want to view that. I mean, it's a little bit harder, so with that specific one, doesn't make much sense. You could throw your stop under this low as well, and look for your 1 to 3, 1 to 5, whatever. Would it be a break even then? But got involved here, just rode this thing up nonstop because just didn't want to lose momentum, then lost momentum. I think I took a small partial down here. Where was it?
Oh, I trailed with just the candles going higher, and I think I got stopped out of my first one somewhere in this area. I don't remember exactly. Took a 50% partial. The rest, as it ran. Oh, no, never mind. Sorry. I did take this thing all the way higher. Took my first partial all the way up here with the loss of the initial momentum, and then the rest was at the MB, the double MB rule, and got stopped out. So really simple trade, and then now it's just going sideways for a bit. So again, same thing goes. For this upcoming week, I'll probably wait for it to, again, make a move, reaccumulate, take it higher if it's clear, right? Very simple there. So I'll be waiting for something like that on NAS. And then for the actual upcoming week, USD CAD has not been clean. I'll take that off my list for now. NZD USD is just ugly right now. I'll just take it off for now. And CAD JPY, which is also relatively clean. It got a little bit choppy here. I don't like that. I probably should not have taken this trade due to the chop here. But I was okay with it, just with the fact that I had a running trade right now that's going to basically pay for the risk of this trade. Either way, looking at it on its own without any other trade, I think this is a bad trade. I probably should not have just taken that. So that's like one of those mistakes that you can and will make, but that's okay. So I'll probably ignore CAD JPY unless it goes through a nicer reset, right? And then makes a setup somewhere here. And if it does, then I'll take it as well. And outside of that, Bitcoin's clean, but I haven't been trading that. It's delivering right now, and it's likely going to undergo a nice setup soon as well. So you can keep an eye on this, right? Beautiful setups back here, making their run. Hopefully you survive it if you're in it, and then it continues to move up. Otherwise, let this thing build a longer range, chop around, blah, 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 and then figure out what it wants to do. Hopefully it starts doing something like this very soon, though. Let this simmer out, and then you can probably get a nice trade there. 10 minutes showed accumulation with the 50-minute getting out of range was a good sign. Oh, yeah. We stayed out of a lot of the bad price action, right, on CAD JPY just by, just right here. Just by looking for that fractalized MB first. Yeah, very easy. Or this one right here, sorry. We stayed out of all the chop inside of there. Yep. Beautiful stuff. Hanton, why didn't you take this US 100 trade? Because the market wasn't clear at all at this point. $15-minute US 100. This one, it just looks choppy. And I think this was news as well. Like, look at the wick. Are you asking me why I didn't take this trade here? Because it looks awful. It's huge wick. I think it was news as well. Yeah, I don't see it. Way above, makes a high. Yeah, I don't see the trade there at all. So I just didn't take it because it wasn't clean for me. If you trade the 1 minute, would you mark the green box on the 1 hour and 5 minute on the 5 hour? It's up to you. Just play around with it a little bit, see what makes the most sense. What is the spread for CJ on your broker? It was like 2.3 or something? 2.6? I'm not sure. I forget. 1.9, something around there. Above 1, under 3, under 4, something like that. Great webinar as usual. I appreciate you, Maki. Thanks very much, and have a nice wedding, boss. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Is EU in short territory for you? No. It's still stuck in whatever this chop is. It looks ugly. I would never touch this thing in a million lifetimes. This is so ugly. Nope. Terrible. Choppy. And actually an accumulation here. Weird. Absolutely horrendous and awful. Yeah, there was no reason I would ever even touch EU at the moment. US oil. Yeah, could be undergoing accumulation for sure. 4 hour finally made its way out of this accumulation. Yeah, this can have follow through now long. I spoke about this last week. I said I wouldn't touch it ever in this area. Now, as we're coming out, this is starting to look actually decent. So, ew. This time from looking, it's not looking that good though. It's looking pretty ugly. Like, it's a hard one. Yeah, if this resets, you can maybe look for a trade on a lower time frame. There's definitely going to be opportunity on like the 1 minute, the 15 second, 30 second, and around these areas. You should get nice opportunities there. What about GJ? Yeah, it's on my list, but right now it's just not too clean. It's starting an okay move though. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, actually this week, it's probably going to set something up. Yep, could be good. Oh no, I don't like doing the like. Nah, I just go between individual charts. It looks cleaner for me. How about GU longs? Maybe. Looks very choppy though. I'm not gonna touch that. Looks very choppy. Yeah, I mean the screener is good, but this is just chop. Yeah, super choppy. Again, look what price is. What is its next move going to do based on this price? Is it going to do this? Or is it going to do this? Gold looks very 50-50. Yep. Seems about right. I mean, it's bullish, but it's not ready yet. It needs time to become ready. It's trapped in ranges. You can see a lot of these XXX USD pairs. You should be seeing this as I'm looking through them all. They're all like trapped in mini ranges, doing nothing. Look at the range that this is in. I'm not going to touch this thing now. This is like a GJ CAD JPY range, right? It's doing this. Sorry, not that. What was it? GJ. It's in this kind of range, and you're trying to get long on it, right? It's likely to do what? Continue in the range. It's likely to do what? Continue in the range. I would not touch it. Cocoa. You're way too late to the party. If you got trades into it anywhere here, good for you. Now you're way too late. It's time for sideways. This hasn't even made a fractalized MB higher. This has made a exuberant move higher. This is very likely to just sideways or come down. This needs time. You're way too late to the party here. Your opportunities were inside of here and here. You're late. Very late now. Hey, Anton, wanted to ask something regarding a rule that allows us to jump to a lower time frame. Doesn't make sense. Assume bullish market that shows up on the screener. Can I wait for a BOS in my direction on, say, the 4 hour before I go to 15 minutes to look for reaccumulation there, and then the same? Yep, you can do that. If DXY inflates, gold can continue down. I know you don't watch correlations, but I've put a lot into seeing how these two move in relation. Again, like I just got the same analysis by not having to do any of that, right? I mean, if you use correlation and it works for you, then by all means, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Sure. Sol USD. Yeah, I'm guessing all cryptos are good right now. So if you got position, then good. Yeah, you got all these good moves up. Those are beautiful. Now you're getting a generally decent reset. A little bit wicky though, which I usually do not like to see. It's still in a bullish market. This is entering pretty clear reaccumulation. 1 hour went through a longer term sideways and is now entering accumulation. Yeah. I mean, this can set up this week for sure. Yeah, if this can come up there along the right-hand side and set something up around here, you could be good. Ethereum, probably the same thing. Um, it's getting a little choppy. I probably need some time now to set up. 4-hour enter to reaccumulation, but it's on the downside. So yeah, I mean, if this can move higher, it's a little bit choppy. It's stuck in a bigger range. But yeah, if this can move higher, maybe if it can get up to like here, you can start watching it on a lower time frame. Adani Energy Solution. I mean, depends on what time frame you're trading this thing on, but entered longer term distribution. Just doing nothing right now. It says it's redistribution, but did make a move higher. That's fine, but not much to do with that. Weekly's in a longer term reaccumulation. Just came out of this. A little bit choppy to the top side. Maybe can set something up. I don't know what time frames you're trading this, but very choppy. Wouldn't touch it. Yeah, it's just choppy. I would not touch this. Looks ugly. Looks ugly. If you're trading a daily, if that's what it seems like you're saying right now, yeah, like you're just stuck. You don't even have a demand validation here on a monthly, so I'd be careful. You don't even have a fractalized MB validation here, so if this can reach higher and maybe close somewhere up here above this high, then you can maybe start to watch a lower time frame for a setup. So it has to reach up, and then it'll probably reset and make a setup around here. Then maybe, but right now, no. It looks ugly. It looks terrible. Trade good pairs, not ugly shit. It's not good. Does not look good. Yeah. All right, guys, listen. Thank you all for your amazing wishes. I appreciate you guys so much. All right, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you all in the trade talks and have an amazing upcoming week, okay? I'm generally going to just be managing CAD personally. And maybe I'll look for another trade on CAD or GJ. NAS needs time, though. There we are. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love you all. I appreciate it a lot. Have a beautiful week.